Hi, everybody. Welcome to MetaStellar, the online publication for speculative fiction. We publish original science fiction, fantasy, and horror, and we just started our fall submission cycle this month on October 1st. And here with us today is Geordie Morse, our submissions editor for original fiction. Hi, Geordie.
That's me. Hello.
So I wanted to ask you about how the submission process is going this year and any advice you have to offer for people who would like to submit original fiction.
Sure. Well, we are at the time of this recording 6 days into our submission cycle, and we've already got about 100 submissions, maybe a bit more, which is a great track record for us. I'm expecting, based on the rate of daily submissions that we're getting, we'll probably get at least a few hundred by the time that we close on October 31st. So as for people who are still interested in submitting, we make it very easy. We have a little banner at the top of our website where you can just click, and we ask you to fill in a bunch of fields like your name, your author bio, and stuff like that. And then you can just copy and paste your story directly into our form. So there's no problems with formatting and stuff like that. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And then once you submit it, I basically get your story, and then I don't read your story, but I send it out to some judges who will, and I will send you a confirmation email within 24, 48 hours or so to let you know that we have in fact received it.
And when will people know the results?
We are going to be sending people the results by November 15th. So basically, once submissions close, if there's still entries that need to be sorted through, we're gonna finish doing that process, and then we'll be sending out those emails.
And how many stories are you going to be accepting?
This submission period, I believe that we're going to be accepting between 10 and 12.
And what are the guidelines in terms of what style the story should be in, how long they should be, that kind of thing?
So this is a flash fiction contest, which means that we only accept stories of up to 1,000 words. There are some people who might want to submit longer ones, but unfortunately, we do not accept short stories for payment at this time. But if they're reprints or excerpts, we always are looking for those. So you can submit those through a different portal. As for the kind of style or genre of story that we're looking for, we are a speculative fiction magazine. So that means basically sci-fi, fantasy, horror, anything in that kind of mix of genres there is what we're looking for.
And do authors get paid?
Yes, we pay industry standard 8 cents a word for our short stories.
All right. So any advice about the kind of trends, what kind of stories tend to do well with their judges?
It's interesting because, our judges are from all over the place, but, the one thing in common is that they're looking for something that, interests them, that excites them. Like obviously we're going to be weeding out stories that don't quite make the cut, but also, it has to have something that really grabs onto somebody, right? So, it's the kind of thing where as long as you are writing something that you are really interested in and you really enjoy, then you can transfer that energy into your story and it should come through to a judge, right? If you don't quite know where your story is going, if you don't quite know what's happening, then you can't really get that focus in there. That's definitely the trend that I've noticed once I've looked through the stories that have been picked or not. And also, of course, basic thing is just making sure to do a very careful edit and reread of your story before submitting it. We do, if an author can't be bothered to look over their own story, we're probably not gonna choose that one.
And where can people see examples of previous winning submissions?
Right on our website. I'm not sure. Well, we do an article or a feature showing the winners after each submission period is closed. So there's generally an article you can search for very easily that'll show those things.
I'll add a link in the description below to both the wrap-up articles and to the actual stories as well. I think we can add links to each of the stories too, probably down below, as well as to the submission page for our fall cycle. and then for the reprints. So do we pay for reprints?
We do not pay for reprints, no, but we are always looking for reprints. So if there's any, and also, reprints can be valuable to authors because they get their social media links, they get their name out there. It helps them boost their own personal SEO on Google and stuff like that. So, reprints are just basically good for anybody.
So if you're accepting 10 or 12 stories out of several hundred, that sounds like it's a really tough thing to break through. Is it, are other publications have the same kind of acceptance rate?
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, if anything, I think we have a higher acceptance rate. You can actually check these. You can actually check these very easily on websites like the Submission Grinder, where it actually shows you a cool little graph of accepted versus submitted and stuff like that. And we're still a relatively new publication, so we're still growing our audience. But if you're submitting to some place like Asimov, or you're submitting to a place like one of those huge places, you're going to be competing against thousands or even tens of thousands of submitters, where here you're competing against hundreds. So it is definitely tough. We definitely want to be picking professional quality, but we're still a very competitive and market for definitely people who are looking to break in.
I was talking to our reprints editor just a couple of days ago at our editorial board meeting, and she said that the acceptance rates for reprints is over 90%.
Yep.
So we do not pay for reprints, but we're happy to include author bios, links to your Amazon author page, and everything else. And is there any charge for readers to read the stories?
Absolutely not. No, we are all about having people come to our website, read as much as we want. Basically the way we support ourselves is through our Patreon, and so people want to support seeing more of this stuff on our website. It's like we are always looking for people to support us through Patreon, to buy our merchandise. You can get a cool mug or a sweatshirt or a tote bag or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of the way that we do funding here.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time to come on and talk about this.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to add that people should know?
I mean, it's the kind of thing where, basically every member of our board is also a writer themselves. So, it's the kind of thing where we understand how daunting it can sometimes be to kind of, feel like, oh, is this good enough to submit? The advice from us is just always try it, and the thing is, even if we, were to reject a story, it doesn't mean that it's going to be not accepted somewhere else. I literally have had people email me to say, sorry, we're taking back, it's been published somewhere else, right? But that means that basically, every judge is different. So, just keep trying. That's the whole point, is that it's kind of a grind, but the thing is, you always have to put yourself out there. So that's I think the advice from us is that, take the leap, just put it out there, and because you never know what's going to happen unless you do it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I'll see you at the next editorial board meeting.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right.